Hey there, I'm Randy, and I'm going to show you the different parts of the Meidase S3 trail camera from top to bottom here. Now, you can see that I've got a screenshot of a page in the manual that goes through these things, but on the other side here, I actually have the trail camera, and I'm going to show you what all these different parts are. Alright, so starting from the top left, we can see that in the diagram, it is showing us that there is a light sensor here. Okay. Now, we're going to go down here and see that this is the lens. I realize that some people may see these cameras and think that these are all different lenses, but these are not the camera lens. Up here is the camera lens. Down here, you can see that this is the center PIR motion sensor. PIR stands for passive infrared. In other words, it's going to detect the motion from different critters around your yard. All right, and now on the left and the right side of the camera, you are also going to have two more sensors, so that if you have something coming from either side of the camera, that can also turn on the camera as well. All right, now inside here, you can also see that there is a white LED, and that is an indicator light. For certain operations of the camera, that can help you determine if it's detecting motion. Now see what look like a bunch of different little light bulbs in here, right? Those are the IR LEDs, or infrared LEDs. Now, the most you may detect is a very faint glow sometimes from the camera, but it is considered to be a no-glow camera. And what this does is it emits a form of light that the camera can see, but that doesn't spook the wildlife, right? And so don't be surprised if when you turn on the camera, you're not going to see this light up. But it really acts like a kind of flashlight, so that in a completely dark area, that you can get some night shots and see what's happening. I didn't notice this for a while. It's so small. This little dot here is actually the microphone. And so once I covered it over with tape or something like that, and I was like, oh, I'm having audio issues. Don't do that. If you cover this little dot with something, you're gonna have some problems with audio because you're blocking the microphone. Whoops. Okay, this here is a Lockhole, right? So maybe you want to lock this up so that it can't be opened, or maybe you're gonna somehow use this to secure the camera so that somebody can't steal your camera. But that's what this is for here, a Lockhole. Going down, I already mentioned these other side sensors here, okay? Now, let's look at the bottom part of the diagram here, right? And without even opening up the camera, let's see what we've got here on the bottom. This right here is so useful. This is a tripod base where you can screw in 1/4-inch screws or tripods so that you can connect this camera in different ways to things. This is extremely helpful. All right, and now you're like, what the heck is this thing here? A lot of time with cameras that are meant for wildlife, maybe you're going to put them out where you don't have any kind of electricity or something like that. Some people do use solar panels that are made for these to connect, or maybe you have a power source you can connect it to, and if you don't want to use batteries. So this is the hole where that would be for. Let's open this up. All right, we've got the main screen here, and we have a menu button here. Sorry if I don't have that clear enough. The OK button, and like so many other devices, left, right, up, and down to go through different menus. At the bottom here is a switch. It says off, on, and set. But last but not least, let's look at the bottom here. This is the SD card slot. This is where you would plug in the USB. And this would be the power input, which is entirely optional. In fact, at this point, I haven't even used it. I have been using batteries only. But this is something I may use at some point. Now, this side over here is just the battery compartment. So if I want to open this up to take a look, I put my finger there, right? And it is going to require 8 AA batteries. Now, this is important, and I have a feeling that many people may accidentally return these cameras because they don't notice this, but see that it is saying 1.5 volt. You're like, what's that? Well, regular batteries are 1.5 volts for AA, but rechargeable batteries are 1.2 volts, okay? And so if you're going to be doing nighttime photography or video and you stick in some kind of rechargeable battery, well, guess what? The camera is not going to have enough oomph and voltage, yeah, technical terms. It's not going to have enough power to power all these LEDs to act like a flashlight for nightlife. And guess what? If you put a rechargeable in there, and then you'll be like, oh, it's not capturing the nightlife. I'm not getting good images. Well, that's why. So it's really important that you know that. I have been able to, during the daytime, get away with rechargeable batteries, which are the 1.2 volts. But anytime I'm going to try to see what the deer are up to late at night, I need to make sure I have in those regular AA batteries. Okay? So let's just go ahead here and pop in some batteries. Now, as with all these devices, you got to make sure you're putting in the batteries the right way, right? You got to make sure that there's the flat end and the pointy end, and you're always going to be putting the flat end against where the spring is. And so let's load this up so we can get this turned on. It's the most exciting part of the video when I put batteries inside. And you do have to put in all 8. If any are missing, it will not turn on. All right, I got my batteries there. Now it's always good to go ahead and put back on this little compartment case here. All right. Did I forget anything? Yes. Now, just like the batteries are not included with the camera, you need to get your own batteries. You're also going to need an SD card. All right, and I will have other videos explaining more information about SD cards and the kind of cards you need. But remember here at the bottom is where the SD card slot is, and I simply insert that. I should be able to see the label on the SD card when I'm putting it into the camera. You'll notice that on the back of the camera, back of the SD card, it just looks like that. If I try to put it in this way, that is not great. I want to make sure that as I put it into the camera slot here, I can see that label, and I should hear like a little click. Do you hear that? It's like there's a little spring in there and it locks it in place. All right, let's see what we got. I'll slide this switch over here to set. Yay, we have the camera. We're powered it up. We've got the SD card in there, and we are ready to get going with more activities for this camera here. That's just a pen I accidentally had on the desk there. So anyway, I hope that helps you to understand what the different parts and components are of your camera. And for now, I'm just going to switch this off, close the lid, and I'm going to close this back up for a little bit later. All right. See you next time.